Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome to Hollywood After Dark for the 22nd of fucking August 2019. It is the pre-night to Disney Plus, or sorry, Disney 23 Expo, D23 Expo. You know, the Comic-Con for people out there who love the House of Mouse. The place where people go to get their Disney on. I don't know. I would assume that there's probably some level of dark fandom hookups happening at D23. It's an event that takes place every other year. Right, every other year. So there's people that come in out of town and then they get together and they yiff. I don't know what they I'm going to assume they're furries dressed as Disney characters destroying $1,800 fursuits. That's right. That's where I'm starting the show off tonight. That's where we're starting things. 100% going into it, talking about people having sex at D23. Because you know what? It's 11 p.m. on the West Coast. I don't know where it's at where you are. But, someone's having sex somewhere, obviously. So there's not a lot of news going on today. There just really isn't. There's the Joan Lee situation, or Stan Lee's daughter situation, which I do want to cover in a video, but it requires a bit more, what's the word I want to use? It requires me to do a bit more digging than I had time to do today. And mostly that has to do with just, stuff about Joan Lee herself. I have reason to doubt the sincerity of her statement, to be fair. I just have reason to doubt it. I don't quite know yet. But we're there. But we're going to talk about it probably. I'll probably do a video tomorrow on it. I'll just do research in the morning cuz this is the last stream of the week, and then I'll be back on Monday night. Potentially. Well, I am thinking, if possible, I might do a live stream during the D Plus panel tomorrow at D23, which is from 3:30 to 5 p.m. PST. And just to see everything live. To kind of get the live updates, to react to it live and have a conversation with you guys who want to talk about that. That's something we could do. That's potentially something we could do. There's also the Walt Disney panel on Saturday morning from 10 until 12. There's current speculation and rumor that we will not be getting a Rise of Skywalker trailer, but more a Rise of Skywalker featurette, which at Comic-Con 2015 at the Star Wars panel, they didn't show us a trailer. They showed us a featurette and then proceeded to serenade us with a massive concert out there behind the convention. It was great. So, there's all that. I see people. Okay, I see people here are kind of abreast on the, or at least apprised on the Joan Lee situation. Now, the reason why I bring it up is because it's been brought to my attention that a lot of YouTubers have jumped on her statement, and they're once again trying to paint Sony in this this massive light, this saintly light, that Sony is the good boy. Sony didn't do nothing. Sony is perfectly fine. Come on. We all know Sony has done some shit. The way they've handled, some of their franchises. But people seem to be really overlooking a lot of that. Like, I walked into a 7-Eleven tonight and talked to I know the guy. Well, I mean, I've seen the guy there before he's seen me. And he's like, oh, and I know he's a nerd. And he's like, how's your day going? And I said, I've been fighting people about Spider-Man all day. And he's like, dude, we were just talking about that. So, it's, it gets around. And then we're talking about it, and some dude walks in. He's like, you guys talking about Spider-Man? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, fuck Sony for that shit. So people, dude, this is like, people talk about this shit. People are interested about Spider-Man. Like, this is big news. This is a bigger deal than Sony thinks. When 3 random pendejos in a 7-Eleven, end up having a full-blown conversation about Spider-Man and about what's going on. it just, this is a big deal. And I've seen the pictures coming out of D23 that have like Spider-Man on the fucking marketing. fucking Bob Iger thought this deal's in the bag. Womp, 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 womp. That's all it is. You know, it's just sad trombone mixed with the adults from Charlie Brown. You know, it's just, what's the best snack to get in a 7-Eleven? I don't know, man. I think their taquitos are pretty good. So there's that. What are my thoughts on the Spawn 1997 film? Oh, I liked it. I mean, like, I didn't like love it, but I liked it. It was fun back, 22 years ago. And the soundtrack introduced me to sneaker bimps, so I can't be too upset. Yeah, I heard Tom Holland and Zendaya unfollowed Sony on Instagram. That's what I heard. That's what I saw, because, heroic Hollywood with the hottest of scoops, the hottest of takes, coming in there with that Joker level fan art. Do you want to see what Tom Hiddleston looks like as the Joker? Come to Heroic Hollywood, where this fan art on Instagram is top tier, pure grade A, uncut Colombian clickbait. That's what it is. But Spawn 1997 is a movie worth watching, Lunith. You should check it out. No, Carrick, the CGI has not aged well, period. The CGI has not aged well at all. Holy crap, it's pretty bad. I mean, John Leguizamo, yeah. I mean, even 1997, it was rough. In 2019, you're looking at this thing going like, that movie looks like The Last Starfighter did when you watched it after watching like The Phantom Menace. Where it's like that big of a gap. It's like nearly a 20-year gap between the two films. Right? Or even like, let's say Pirates of the Caribbean fucking 2 or 3 or whatever, with like the technology of Davy Jones. And you go back and you look at like 20 years prior, 1986, The Last Starfighter, which I don't know if that came out that year. And how like the graphics are dated and how everything looks dated, but the story's still really good. And that's the whole point. It's just like that Spawn 1997. It looked dated back then. Now it just looks like someone like, with clay stick figures. Let's see, Lethal Weapon or Beverly Hills Cop? Definitely Lethal Weapon. I love Beverly Hills Cop. But there's that. You wish more filmmakers would use practical effects. Yeah, well, a lot of them want to. It's just they do CG, and just in some cases it's just cheaper. Like when it's like CG blood effects to replace squibs so they don't destroy clothing. Paul Verhoeven is pissed. He's like, fuck you. Did you watch the unrated version of RoboCop? We tore Alec Murphy up. Let's see. It's like the creature effects in the Mummy 1999 and the Mummy Returns. They look bad, but they're still fun. The Mummy 1999, yeah, it had some, like, the effects, I believe, in the Mummy 1999 were better than the effects in the Mummy Returns. I do. I think, like, I think they skimped, like, The Rock, the Scorpion King. That CG was bad for 2001. The CG was bad for anything. I mean, they should, like, seriously, with modern technology, go back and just remaster that shit. I mean, sure, it's been almost 20 years, but we could do a lot better job. Thoughts on the Expendables films? I like them, actually. I like them. It's been a little over 9 years since the first one came out. Did you guys know that the first Expendables movie and Scott Pilgrim versus the World opened on the same day? I mean, that's completely useless information, but it's still interesting. And the Expendables went on to have, I think, like an $85 million opening weekend. Whereas Scott Pilgrim, arguably a much better movie, made like 10 million or something. The third Mummy movie is not the best thing on the planet. It could be worse, but it's not the best thing on the planet. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna. I don't have any news again. Nothing really kind of caught my eye for what I want to talk about. I know, like, Dan Trachtenberg left the Uncharted movie, which bums me out. I mean, like, that's about it. There ain't shit. There just ain't shit today. So, you know, I think everyone, I mean, I know I excessively covered Spider-Man to the point of where I was getting yelled at today for it. Like, did you have to do 3 videos on Spider-Man? I'm all like, I did. And I could have done 4. So count yourself lucky. What Screen Rant has an article here that Dark Phoenix could be the reason why Spider-Man left Marvel. What? Okay, what is this saying here? So, oh, motherfucker, god damn it. Oh, they just dropped an article a couple hours ago about this. Do you guys want me to go through the article about Variety said inside the Spider-Man split? You guys want me to do that? I can. And then we can take your calls. Is Comic Book Cast 2 the equivalent of Heroic Hollywood? Yeah. I actually called them out today on that too. They did a video like John Watts out of Spider-Man. And I'm all like, I'm like, I can't find that information anywhere. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt. And they're like, Deadline reported it. And I'm all like, I went and read the article and I'm like, Deadline reported that he hadn't signed the agreement to do Spider-Man 3. Nothing about him being out. Like, you guys are going to want to like go back and, you know, like change that. And then they didn't respond. They didn't respond. I wasn't expecting them to be honest with you. I like Armin, but like he's, it's just, it is what it is. It just is what it is. Let's see. It's just funny to me that it's like, there's certain things that he puts out there that's real skates the edge of acceptability in journalism. You know, not necessarily pointing out like sources. So, you know, I just think I have nothing against the guy, but anyway. What are my thoughts on the child safety policy? What child safety policies? What are we talking about here? What are you talking about? I don't know. You're talking about that. No, I don't. I know AJ. I like the channel. I watch the channel. I roll my eyes sometimes at some of the things because it's like, you know, it's clickbait. It's oh God, I have so much. I need to hire somebody to write my fucking titles. I swear to God. Like, I need to hire somebody to write my titles. Better movie, Underworld or Resident Evil? Are we talking the series as a whole or just the original film? If it's the series as a whole, I believe Underworld is probably the better franchise. More consistency. If we're talking individual, better opening films, I prefer Resident Evil. But I will say Resident Evil, like, it fluctuates in quality where it's like 1, 3, 4, and I think 1, 3, and 4 are okay. 2 is fun. 5 is goddamn ridiculous, like to the point of just what the fuck were you all thinking? And 6 was the final chapter, wasn't it? Are there 7 movies or are there fucking? Are there how many? I swear to God, there's only 6 movies. How many Resident Evil movies are there? Yeah, there's 6. Yeah. I've seen them all. I mean, I saw the final chapter like the first day it came out, you know, and for what they are, I enjoy them. I do. I enjoy them for what they are because I've always had a thing for Mila Jovovich. Like, that woman never ages. And she's 43 and she looks like she did when she, you know, when she was like in Dazed and Confused. So yeah, she's hot. Anyway, thoughts on the Ghost in the Shell movie? It was actually pretty good. Slasher fan. It was actually pretty good. It was, I mean, different from the anime. Obviously, it was going to be. And the whole whitewashing controversy made no sense if you see the movie because you can figure out why. And, you know, I thought they did a pretty decent job. I was entertained all the way through. I went to go see it thinking like, this is going to be shitty. And I walked there going like, yeah, okay, wasn't bad. Is Cosmic Book News legit? Armand, for the most part, yeah. They just take stories from like other places, but they put a conservative slant. So Cosmic Book News for movies, One Angry Gamer for gaming and other things. Those are more of a right-leaning outlets, but there's times where it's like, the fact that they throw around the word woke like it's going out of fucking style. People today in the comment section of my Spider-Man video I did about the why Sony needs Disney. People like, oh, the woke phase 4. I'm like, what's woke about phase 4? I get no response. I asked a question. They can't answer it because they're told it's woke. They don't actually know. So let's see. Alita Battle Angel is a bunch of fun. Yeah, Alita is. Is Run Angry Gamer? Yeah. Well, Garrick, I sent you that link about his little heated gamer moment in the comments section of a Star Citizen article. I mean, he unapologetically dropped the N-bomb multiple times, and it's a woof thing. This is Utopia, please. Is Utopia 2? Yeah, I heard they're gonna do that. I heard Sony is woke for restricting nudity. Come on, who doesn't like nudity? Give us nudity. If I can blow a dude's head off, I can see the crack of a chick's ass. That's not gonna just, if I can play Call of Duty and wield, a fucking gun and mow people down, I can see underboob. It's not gonna kill me. I mean, honestly, and this is the thing, because Lunathir says, I want the tits, damn it. It's been scientifically proven that boobs actually reduce stress. People like looking at boobs because it reduces stress. Not really in a sexual way. It just reduces stress. So what we need are more tits. We need more boobs, breastises, chesticles, right? We need all these things out in the open, free, wild, flowing, jiggling, bouncing. Because then people might be more stress-free. I think that's a solid activism program I could get behind. Hey, what's going on, Byron Ellie? How you doing, man? Let's see. Disney doesn't like nudity. Well, they do when it suits them well. Look up Jefferson in Paris. A lot of these channels are wanting the MCU to fail. The situation really shows it. I agree. It's not going to fail. I think it's bad. I think it's dumb to say that. Japanese have a thing with nudity. Yeah, they like to use digital blockings. They digitize the goodie bits. That's interesting. Let's see. Point Break or Speed. I'm going to catch crap for this. I own Point Break, but I've never seen it. So for me, it's going to be Speed. Let's see. In your opinion, Viking, he says, Alita Battle Angel is the best movie 2019. It's a good film, man. It's a good one. For me right now, it's probably Endgame. Movie just gets me. It just gets me. Do I think the environment of the comic book industry after the comic book crash is what created people like Mark Waid and the opposite of Ethan Van Sciver? Yeah. I think in the case of Ethan Van Sciver, he saw that there was an audience of people that felt disenfranchised from comics because Marvel brought in, a lot of left-leaning people. And that's kind of the whole thing. When you hire one, they hire their friends. We've all seen this in different industries. Certain takeovers of certain areas all become certain things. If you don't catch it early on, you end up kind of fucking yourself. So, it's one of those things where they just kind of, they pray to different gods, so to speak. And Ethan has found a way to basically make people believe that he's a victim constantly. This dude's wealthy. He's not a victim, but he's able to play it. That's part of his game. And if you think about it, other people in the YouTube sphere have done the exact same thing. We're always the ones being targeted. We're always the ones that are the victim. And they do that. And then they get their base riled up and then they go, hey guys, by the way, I have this GoFundMe or this Kickstarter. And they fund it. And it's a smart tactic. It's a right-leaning tactic, 100%. And because you don't really see a lot of left-leaning people will do it, but it's always a different way of going about it. But the right's really good at fundraising, great at fundraising. Yeah, no, I give Ethan credit for being a good artist. I've seen his Ninja Turtle knockoff. It looks pretty cool. Have I watched Vikings TV show? I have not. Thoughts on Spartacus? The season 3 finale of Spartacus is one of the best hours on television ever. That show is great. Have I seen HBO's Rome? 13. Fuck yeah, I saw Rome. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers looks like Kevin Feige. No, he doesn't, dude. No, he doesn't. You know, and just saying there's a lot of shit. Am I gonna watch Dark Age Crystal? Yeah. Dark Crystal. Yeah. Is that tomorrow or is that next week? God, I hope it's next week. Because I gotta rewatch Dark Crystal. I haven't seen it since the 80s. But I want to see it, yeah. I mean I might go in cold, but you know, you're gonna want to watch Dark Crystal in order to know who some of the core characters are. So next week, awesome. Cool. Gives me a week to watch the original film. I still need to watch Mindhunter season 2, and everything, yeah. So, but okay, guys, we've been on for 20 minutes. You know, let me bring up the Skype, so we can do that. Also, if you guys want to jump in, there's going to be the Discord. Link is in the video description, and I can post that. Have I seen any of Larry the Cable Guy movies? I believe so, but I kind of blocked them out of my mind. Yeah, Lunith, it's all on Netflix. Yeah, I got to check that one out. And so, yeah, you guys can join the Discord. We'll just post that link in there as well. And then go into the general room, and I can pull you guys in. Okay. Hey, what's up, 619? How's it going, man?
Hey, man, how you been today, dude?
Today I've been very tired. I don't know why. I've just been so tired today. And like nothing sounds good in like movie news wise. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll play Call of Duty. Which I did. I downloaded the 2v2 alpha and played that for a while. Oh,
the alpha's out.
Yeah, they dropped it. They dropped it early. It's like 36 gigabytes to download. So it's massive.
Hey, thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna have to download that before I go to sleep tonight. All right, gonna do that. But I had a question. What are your thoughts on the comments made by Stanley's daughter?
You know what? The thing is, if you know anything about Stanley's daughter, especially leading up to like right after her mother died and leading up to his death, she's no fucking saint. I'll put it to you like that. My understanding of the situation, and I've had conversations today with people who have talked to people close to Stanley today that were like very happy about this news coming out about her. So then there's a spotlight shined on her because people want to see, the world to see like how crazy she is. Because from my understanding, and I need to go in and double check everything. From my understanding, she was pretty tight with the guy who is now being charged with 5 counts of elder abuse. So there's a lot there. That's why I didn't cover it tonight. There's a lot going on. And I didn't have the time to dive into the research. So I didn't prep anything.
Is this like the same daughter that got like all the flack, and didn't he get like a restraining order against Stanley or something like that because of like all the abuse?
Yeah, same daughter.
Same one.
Same daughter. And all of a sudden today she's fucking the best person in the world. She's a saint. She's the golden goose that's gonna take down Disney and gonna make sure Spider-Man's everyone's backing her up. You know, I'm hearing, I haven't seen a lot of people's videos on it, but I've gotten a lot of messages from people that are like, oh, these people are all backing it. I'm like, that doesn't surprise me. You know, because they just want Disney to fail. So they are gonna sit there and figure out they're gonna take anything they can. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, because they'll never fucking admit if they are wrong. But yeah, so I'm like, look, I'd rather be factual. And the thing is, like, I mentioned her when I first booted up the stream and was prepping it up. People were coming in the chat, and you know, I said something about her, and then a bunch of people were just like, oh yeah, she's a piece of shit, you know. So it's like the Stan Lee's diehard true fans. His daughter's word means very little. You know, and she's like, well, when he died and no one came over, no one from Disney or Marvel contacted me. Okay. And like, you know, were you expecting like a bouquet? Did you want them to send you like, an edible arrangement?
Like an Easter basket or something, like a gift basket.
Did you want like a gold statue of your father? Like, what do you want? It's opportunist, because it's opportunist, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, I feel you, because like not like ever since it's been like, I mean the first day when this news came out, people were just quick to go like, Sony, you're a piece of shit, like what the fuck, and doing all this, and then the next day all of a sudden it's like, you know what, fuck Sony, no, fuck Disney, like look at them trying to be greedy and all this stuff, and now on this day it's like, oh, see, look at that, Stanley's daughter said all this stuff, fuck Disney, they're the worst. It's like every single day ever since this news, like something crazy has happened, like that's adding like fuel to like this entire like shit show.
Yeah,
like fire shit show, and it's like, I wonder, like, what's D23 again?
Tomorrow starts at 9 a.m.
Tomorrow, there's gonna be something good happening tomorrow. Like,
no, it's not gonna happen until Saturday morning, I think.
I don't know. I don't mean at D23. I mean like something regarding this news is gonna happen. Like, and I'm thinking something that may be related to D23. Maybe like some rumors saying like, oh, they're gonna do something D23 that's gonna do this, do that, something big, or like something revolving around it. Because it seems that like this entire week we're gonna be getting something crazy regarding the whole fiasco surrounding Spider-Man. And like I said last night, it's like it's just adding more grievances to everybody. Just saying, why couldn't things just have worked out better than it has? But I guess that's how the industry works. Just things happen, and we all just
I think things are going to work out just fine in the end. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of feels like the fact that the key players on the other side haven't said shit publicly, right? So let's break it down. Let's break it down to what we know. Because I was doing this is again, I walked into the 7-Eleven today and I talked to this guy who I told him to tune into the show, so he might be listening. And if he is, hey, what's up, dude? And we were talking about it, and I'm like, let's talk about the facts, right? So the facts are this. News story broke in Variety saying that the deal was ended. Okay. And the story said that there was, that Disney wanted 50-50 co-financing split, which by the way, real quick side note, I love when I'm watching all these people talking about that, and they go, Disney wanted 50%, without ever bringing up the fact that Disney was then going to pony up 50%. You know? Right. And if money is an issue for Sony, which, let's face it, it absolutely fucking is.
Very much.
If there's $190 million budget on the next Spider-Man movie, or let's just say it's a $200 million budget, which seems to be kind of the norm, and Sony only has to put up $100 million of that, and Disney puts up the other $100 million, and it makes $1 billion or plus $1 billion, and they can split that down the middle, and Sony actually ends up doing pretty good, a better take home than what they've had recently. It just makes, I'm not, look, I think 50-50 is a bit steep, right? But I mean, in general, just breaking it down, it makes sense. Even Kevin Smith came out and said they should take the fucking deal, and it's like, this is just why. So anyway, Vorsi here says maybe they never wanted the deal, which, you know what? That's an interesting take on it. And I've heard that brought up, but anyway, so that's essentially what the first article says. Now, the first article, and Midnight's Edge did a good breakdown of this. They said that the guy who broke the story is kind of a frequent leaker for Sony. Sony filters stories through him. They give him the scoops. So this came from inside Sony, probably inside Tom Rothman. All right, from Tom Rothman's office, because it painted Sony as the victim right off the bat. And then Sony releases 3 tweets that say, well, Disney won't let Kevin Feige play with us anymore, right? Disney's taking their toy and going home. And we understand it because he's got all this other shit on his plate, and he doesn't have time for Spider-Man, which, if you know anything about Kevin Feige, he loves Spider-Man. I mean, like the new current rumor is that he low-key produced Venom, that he helped Venom out, and Venom wasn't the best movie on the planet. He can only do so much, but he was helping get shit done. Or maybe helping guide the project. You know, because Amy Pascal and him are friends, and Amy Pascal was out there saying that this is going to be part of the MCU. If you
recall, I saw that face he did. I saw that face he did.
Yeah, ooh, right. It's like, you know, because they don't have because this is a big deal. So there's that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then Sony puts out that cryptic ass tweet, those tweets that say fucking nothing, right? About the situation as a whole. It says nothing. And then we get nothing out of Disney, except for this one comment that says Disney really wanted a 70-30 split, with Disney getting 30%. And then people are like, oh, but Disney wanted, you know, Disney's just doing damage control now. Like, again, it's all this spin. And I'm like, 70-30 seems like a more of an appropriate thing, because, you know, because when Sony dropped the deal, or when they had dropped a story to Deadline, it also said that, like, oh, Sony refused the deal but came back with compromises, and Disney was firm no. Now the question then becomes, what's the compromise, right? Like, any of those details would have been good, or what is it what were the stipulations of the agreement? Because the only stipulation we got, really, outside of the co-financing, was that they could potentially oversee, create creative control over other Marvel Spider-Man characters. And that is the most interesting fucking thing, because that is the smart play. Now, I understand that in the case of Venom, $856 million worldwide, that was a wholly Sony-owned production. It had a $100 million production budget. They made cash. I get it. They want to still have cash coming in. 100% get that. But when you look at what they have in regards to any other franchise, it's dead in the water. Ghostbusters may be good. It may not be good. I got faith that it's going to be good, but it could be shit. You know?
Yeah,
and other than that, they don't have much. They just don't have it. So why not take the deal with Marvel? This is just, again, I'm just spitballing here, but why not take that 70-30 deal? Give the creativity over to the people who know what the fuck they're doing, and got you $1 billion, or $2 billion if you think about it, between both movies. Got $2 billion, and then why not reinvest that money into making other better movies? And then you don't have to worry about that. But that's your surefire. That's your surefire fucking cash cow. You know, that's your surefire win. And then we got the whole everyone. Then people bring up, oh, but the merchandising, right? And as I showed last night, that deal was a two-way transaction 8 fucking years ago. Right? It was a two-way transaction 8 years ago. And again, I'm like the only asshole that's even fucking talked about that, trying to shine some light on this, because no one else is talking about it. Now, granted, I buried it in a fucking 18-minute long video, so maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and go, you know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about this. The whole idea is that Sony is not the fucking victim here. Disney, if anything, at the fucking bare minimum, is going to them with an olive branch to say, hey, let's help you out. Because, like, here's what I was trying to say is we don't have any statements from any key player directly outside of Sony's tweets. Kevin Feige has said nothing, although he rarely does. Bob Iger or Alan Horn have said nothing. And we're coming into D23, so that, you know, they don't want to cause a shit show, so that they haven't said anything clearly, because they want to, you know, they don't want to add to the fuel to the fire. And so you got those people having not said a word, but there's one other person. There's one other person who hasn't said anything about this. And I want to ask you, do you know who that is?
It could have been Tiff Rothman, could it?
Close. It's Pascal.
Oh, Pascal.
Pascal was the one who brokered the deal in the first place. Pascal is the one that positioned herself to oversee Spider-Man at Sony. Pascal is the one who is still in control of Sony at Spider-Man. Pascal is the one who went to Kevin Feige originally in 2014 to broker a deal that ultimately fell through originally, but then came to knowledge through the hacks, and they made it work. She's the one that said Venom is going to be in the MCU. She's the one that's been pushing for all this shit. And Kevin Feige thanks her publicly all the time. He thanks her publicly a lot. And so that's the whole thing. and I see Armand talking about like how Cosmic Book News has said that potentially they're going to be announcing it. It's a done deal. They're just announcing it at D23, which is entirely possible. It's entirely possible. And again, I would argue that if I was a betting man, if I was going to go to LA or go to Vegas and bet on this, I would bet yes, there would be an announcement. But the thing is the deal that Sony's that Disney potentially could be offering is solid. It's solid because they get to then bring back all those characters over to the MCU without buying Sony. And I was getting messages from friends of mine in the industry today that were asking me like, "Do you think Marvel's gonna buy Sony or Disney's gonna buy Sony?" And I'm like, no, they wouldn't buy Sony. I mean, Columbia Pictures and Sony Pictures needs the help, which is what they're offering, but they're not going to buy it. They don't want the monopoly. This allows them to get around the monopoly, the government situation. Because all they want is fucking Spider-Man characters, and they're willing to take it all on. They're willing to put Marvel Studios in charge of characters they don't own in order to integrate them into this universe that's made $22.5 billion over 11 years. Like, take the fucking money and then reinvest it into better shit on your own.
Yeah, take the money, let the actual creative workers do their thing, and then you can use the money to like make whatever Jumanji sequel, or whatever, anything. I don't even know what other Sony franchises there is.
They've got a lot, and there's one I'd love to see a third one of, and that's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I love those two movies. I didn't know they made that. Yeah, they made, well, that was Phil Lord and Chris Miller who directed the first movie, wrote and directed the first movie, wrote and produced the second one, I believe. And they also produced Into the Spider-Verse. So they also did 21 and 22 Jump Street for Sony as well. So that's one of the reasons why Amy Pascal is tight with Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Because like they've worked really close together for years, and 21 and 22 Jump Street were very successful. They're very funny. That's why they, but they also have, Sony also has Men in Black, which International was not like a terrible movie. It was maybe unnecessary, but it wasn't terrible. And, hold on, let's see. Oh, okay. What franchises does Sony own? Let me take a look at this here, because that's a good question. I mean, why not? Why not just take the deal on this one? Because they own apparently Karate Kid. They've got Ghostbusters. They got Jumanji. Let's see. They had the Angry Birds movie, which apparently just did real good. The new movie just came out, and the first movie grossed $350 million worldwide. So Angry Birds grossed $25 million less than Into the Spider-Verse.
Really?
Think about that for a second. Yeah. No, not number 2, but the first movie did. So
okay. I was about to say, I was like, dang.
Yeah. Sony has Goosebumps, which have done pretty well. They've got the Peter Rabbit movies, which surprisingly have done pretty well. I mean, they've got franchises that they can build off of, or I don't know. Why not just go and fucking start making new goddamn franchises? Oh yeah. So Garrick here says they have Smurfs, Hotel Transylvania, Underworld. Oh yeah, that's going through Screen Gems. Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Underworld.
Yeah. Bring back Underworld, man. Like remake Underworld. They got Stuart Little. Yeah, I like him too. I prefer the Resident Evil movies. I think those are all. I think Resident Evil is also fucking Sony as well.
Aren't they making like a remake of that?
Yeah. They've talked about doing a remake of the. They've talked about doing a remake.
Oh, like a reboot of like the series.
Yeah, with being more in line with the original video game concept. Yeah, let's see here. So that was, I believe, I'm looking at the Constantine film.
Don't they also own the movie Sicario? Don't they own that too? Because I remember they made a sequel to that.
Yeah, Sicario, I believe, is Sony.
Yeah, I remember they said in the trailer about like the next chapter in the Sicario saga. So I'm like thinking they thinking that I'm pretty sure they want to back on that too. Like they're just trying to give everything like one of the things to see what sticks. Which I'm not sure how Sicario 2 did, but from what I from when I thought, I liked it. But I'm not.
Yeah, I
That's
think
not that it won't be a moneymaker.
yeah, and they're also doing okay. And Sony Pictures is releasing Monster Hunter next September, and that's yeah, and
Monster
that's that yeah, that's based on the video game starring Mila Jovovich and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Have you seen
so
have you seen the teaser for that? It looks good. It looks good.
I have actually have not. I'm gonna have to check it out. Just
Yeah,
giving
it's
his wife
short.
work. That's what he's doing right now.
It's short as hell. Let's see here. So I mean, yeah, like Screen Gems has done a lot in regards to movies. They did Brightburn. Let's see, they did Slender Man. You know, which actually, yeah, that made money. They did Resident Evil. Yeah, so I mean, Underworld, Resident Evil are all part of Screen Gems, which is owned by Sony.
Then they also open up a studio, a studio devoted to making like television and film adaptations of PlayStation video games. Like
Yeah,
their, like,
PlayStation.
titles.
Yeah, and yeah, they opened up. I think it was a PlayStation platform or something. I forget what it's called. But yeah, they've got a whole bunch of different. You know, they've got a whole bunch of different. What do they have here? They got Columbia Pictures. They got TriStar Pictures, Screen Gems, Sony Pictures ImageWorks, Sony Pictures Animation, Sony Pictures Re-Releasing, Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, Sony Pictures Worldwide. They have Destination Films, Stage 6 Films, and Affirm Films. So they got that. They've also got what is it? They've got for television. They own USA. Oh, sorry, no, they don't own USA. That's Universal.
Oh.
Sorry. I saw USA and then like, oh, you know, they got Funimation now. They own the Game Show Network. They own Sony Crackle, which I don't even know why the fuck Sony Crackle is still around, but okay, whatever.
I'm surprised. Yeah, that's how they get the money.
And then they've got Ghost Core, which is what oversees the Ghostbusters franchise.
Ghostbusters.
And I mean, the thing is, Sony's got a lot of stuff. Okay, so it's not like they've got a lot of franchises they can pull from. The problem with it is though is that they don't know how to fucking operate the goddamn franchises. Okay, they got Grown Ups, Paul Blart. Well, those are coming under Happy Madison, but yeah. They got the Happy Madison movies as well. Sony also distributed the new Tarantino film. Yeah, the new Tarantino movie was a Sony movie. They put up $100 million for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I didn't know that, actually.
So that's the thing is they've got. Shidoko here says Sony should make a Fortnite movie. I agree.
That would honestly be interesting to see how they actually do it. I know Ninja would be in there like a cameo. Watch.
Oh yeah. If they did, and at this point I wouldn't be surprised if Fortnite's film rights have been purchased. let me Google that. Has Fortnite?
I know they've been trying to make that Uncharted movie for like so long.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do a video talking about.
Oh, nice.
I want to do a video diving into the history of the Uncharted film series, or the the Uncharted film that we've been hearing about since like 2011. Mostly because I'm a huge Uncharted fan myself, so like I'm a big Uncharted fan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Christian Zaleski here says they just lost a filmmaker for Uncharted. I know, and Dan Trachtenberg was really good. Ooh. Frank says Sony has Charlie's Angels. Frank, I can't tell if you are typing that with all seriousness or you're laughing as you type that because that movie looked terrible.
No.
that movie looked bad. So yeah,
even my mom was a big fan of Charlie's Angels hates that.
Yeah, it's bad shit. But anyway, man, we've been chit-chatting for a while, a lot longer. I'm gonna let you go and let other people get the opportunity to pop on in. No, it's all good. We've had a good conversation tonight. Again, tonight's hangout, chit-chat with everyone for the probably maybe like another 45 minutes. I'm tired as fuck, so I'm probably gonna go to bed a little early tonight.
Yeah,
and but yeah, go download Call of Duty and let me know what you think about it.
All right, man. All right, have a good night, dude.
You too, man. Have yourself a great one. Okay, thank you very much for calling in. He's a good dude. Nerd Report here says, I love Sony and Disney. Yeah, we know. I know. Let's see here. Araya here says, low key, I want to see Paul Rudd as Nathan Drake. Humor. I don't know. Really? You want to see Paul Rudd as Nathan Drake? That's interesting. Scott Wilson, the number is in the video description. I'll post it. There you go. Just make sure you don't have a blocked or unknown number because I don't answer those. A lot of Big Armada here says, honestly, a lot of these movies are coming out. I ask myself why. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, a lot of these movies could be better off as television shows, to be fair, which is one of the reasons why streaming is as big as it is right now. Long form storytelling is big. And I mean, imagine a Game of Thrones movie. Like, imagine a Game of Thrones movies based off of the books. If you think season 8 had problems. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Cam? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I can't get the Spider-Man situation out of my head, so I've been thinking about it for the past 2 days.
I really recommend masturbation. It's just, I think it gets a lot of things out of your head, and it's good for the body and soul
I'll
and
keep
spirit.
that in mind.
Okay. I think you could find some good Mary Jane videos. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, did you hear about the Disney Parks announcement, how they announced what the Marvel Land's going to be? It's going to be called Avengers Campus, and Spider-Man's going to be a huge part. He's going to have a huge attraction there. And
well, they haven't. I have not seen that. I have not seen that announcement yet. I don't know where that's coming out of.
And I saw it on Twitter, and they even debuted the cost. They tried D23. They have the costume there for what the Spider-Man character is going to be. It's not the exact suit from the movie, but it's clearly inspired by the Homecoming suit. It looks like a suit that the Tom Holland Spider-Man could wear, like a suit that he would make that would be like an evolution of the suit. It's the same one that they use in the teaser posters.
Okay. Let's see. Would it be under the D23 Expo tag?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's see. Nerd Report, you're here, man. You got people that are there. Fucking, let me know what you see.
Yeah.
If you know what's going on with this one, because that's interesting. Because I know they're going to have a big announcement on Sunday for the parks, and that one I'm interested in. So let's see. Epcot transformation concept art and new video at D23. Oh, cool. I want to go to Epcot. I've never been to Epcot. I want to go. Let's see. If I find that here. They've got the Mandalorian. Oh.
Yeah.
They've got the Mandalorian costume on display. It looks so cool.
Yeah. And they displayed the new jet troopers from Rise of Skywalker, too.
No, nice. At Comic-Con, they had the Sith trooper that was there. They had the red thing.
Okay, and now they have jet troopers. The jetpack.
Oh, God, I can't wait for Rise of Skywalker. I'm so fucking hyped to see that movie.
Screen Rant just tweeted out these pictures that you can see the
okay, I'll check
display for the whole thing.
All right, let me check Screen Rant. I don't know if I follow them. I should follow them.
I don't, but people I follow retweeted it. That's how I saw it.
Okay. Apparently, Brandon Routh is leaving Legends of Tomorrow.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Okay, Avengers Campus. Avengers Campus California, Avengers Campus Paris, Avengers Campus. Okay, so that's what they're calling it for right now. Oh, and they're using that looks like a fucking kid's costume for Spider-Man.
I think just how it looks on the mannequin, you can see it looks like a Tom Holland suit, but
it looks it's the Homecoming
figure.
suit. It's the Homecoming suit.
Yeah, the black lining is moved, so it just lines of the borders between the red and the blue. The web shooters are more like gauntlets. It looks like a suit he could wear in a future movie. It really does, like the design wise.
Okay, so I'm posting that in the chat for anyone who wants to see the direct thing yourself. Go ahead. Man, that's that looks cool.
Disney's going to smother Sony. Whether or not, if they keep on with this, like with just making Spider movies on their own, Disney still owns the rights, I think, to like the likeness of the MCU Spider-Man that they can use. They have his park rights, his TV rights, his merchandise rights, his video game rights. They have everything but the film rights. So I'm just saying, how is Sony going to trug along when
They're
they
not.
literally
Well, Sony. Okay, so here's. Let me just give you a rundown of what Sony's plans are going to be. Right, Sony's plans are going to be: we can make Venom and keep remaking Venom. We can mimic that success, but that success still had Kevin Feige's fingers in it. You know,
Yeah.
it may not have been around the shaft, but it was clearly up the butthole. It was, one pinky in sort of thing. It was right there. It, my humor is I'm tired, so it gets very, very terrible. But the whole idea is if he was involved in helping make Venom, then they're not
clearly
like
didn't listen to him though.
the thing is they
actually. But did you hear that he gave advice for making Spider-Man 2? That before this deal even existed, he tried to give them advice when that movie was being made because he got the script himself, and he tried to give them like advice on how to change it in reshoots because he likes the character. He loves Spider-Man, even if he doesn't own it or has any stake in it. He wants it. He doesn't want the Marvel brand to be defaced, so he wants the other Marvel. He wanted the other Marvel properties to do well, but they just didn't because they tried to copy what he did, but they couldn't manage it.
Yeah, because they he's been able to build up this massive this massive thing. And
yeah.
I'll have to get back to that one. So yeah, no, that's this. I know it's crazy shit, dude. It's crazy shit. They've got to figure out how to make this deal work because here's the truth of it. As much as I'm in Disney's court on this one. People go like, I've been called a shill all fucking day. It's been really funny.
I'm not ignorant that they didn't instigate the whole thing, but I think that they are in the right in terms of they've done right by the Spider-Man franchise, and I just want good Spider-Man movies, and I don't think Sony can deliver on that. So I'm in the corner of the studio that makes the better movies.
There's the thing with that is they can deliver on it, and I'm sure Nerd Report in the chat would absolutely agree with me here. They need to bring back Sam Raimi. And if they brought back Sam Raimi and they went to him, I think fans would be okay. But I think Sam Raimi at this point is beyond that. He's beyond that now. It's been 12 years.
They were considering doing that right after the Amazing Spider-Man 2 bombed. If you look at the leaked emails, they were all over the place with what they were going to do. They were going to ask Sam Raimi to come back. They were going to do a Sinister Six movie. They were going to do an Aunt May movie. They were going to do a Spider-Man versus Carnage movie or something. They were
what the fuck was the Aunt May movie about? What was the Aunt May movie? Like, why would you?
She was going to be like a spy in her youth or something.
Well, like what? Like Pennyworth? Like the Pennyworth show? Is it just like someone's like, Alfred from Batman, he kicked some ass when he was a kid. And they're like, yeah, let's make that a show. But then again, if you go back and you watch Into the Spider-Verse and Aunt May and Into the Spider-Verse, she clearly was into some shit. And I love that version of Aunt May too. Right? I do. I love that version of Aunt May. I thought that was great. And really enjoyed it. So, plus it was Lily Tomlin voicing Aunt May, which just made my heart sing because I love Lily Tomlin. So yeah, I mean, like that would be fine with me if that was the Aunt May they were going to fucking roll with. And that's what they did. That's what they should do. And Vezok here says Aunt May going back in time to save Uncle Ben. There we go.
That wouldn't be a character though, because Aunt May's a really responsible character.
I think
that could be. Yeah.
Well, I think with Disney, like I think in the case of Disney here, they're just biding their damn time, and in one way or the other, they're biding their damn time. If they get their hands on these properties, Sony's going to profit greatly. If they don't, Sony's going to make attempts, and Sony might have one win or another every once in a while, enough to keep them going for maybe another 10 years. And then after a while, when we're in phase 7 or phase 8 of Marvel, and you've got X-Men versus Avengers, and it makes $3 billion fucking dollars, Sony's gonna sit there and go, we fucked up, because we could have had a slice of not that movie, but the adjacent to that. And if they're not making any damn money off Spider-Man movies, and they stop making them because they either run out of money, if Sony sells Columbia Pictures, the rights revert back to Marvel instantaneously. It's non-transferable in the sale.
No, I know that, but the problem is that no one wants that, because no one wants this. Everyone wants the deal to be re-upped before Sony has a chance to make another Spider-Man movie on their own, because no one wants to lose
no one trusts
the
them.
MCU Tom Holland version.
Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. Now,
Yeah,
and I say this as a person who liked Spider-Man 3 and enjoyed Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I did.
Arguably, yeah, I know. I kind of like Amazing Spider-Man, the first one too, but I've kind of soured on it in recent years after people pointed out to me how Spider-Man acts out of character a lot, and how it's not really Peter Parker. He's too cool, and I've kind of soured it on recent years. But
Wait, in Amazing Spider-Man,
the first one, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's splitting hairs. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's more comic accurate Spider-Man. You know, cracking jokes and things like that, like being witty. Peter Parker's witty.
In the beginning with Rhino, though, it was too much because he cracked jokes while Rhino was writing down people with a semi truck when he could have stopped them. Spider-Man would tell jokes, but not at the expense of possibly saving people. So,
well, you gotta understand when you're doing a panel to film transition or translation, you know, like what could be in one panel of a comic book, trying to put that into a movie and make it work is very difficult to do.
It is. I'm just saying that you could arguably say that Sony hasn't made a great live-action Spider-Man movie on their own since Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Man 3 was panned. The first Amazing Spider-Man was received lukewarm, and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was received even worse than Spider-Man 3. So you have to look at it from that perspective and Spider-Verse. Yeah, Spider-Verse was amazing, but that was mostly due to the efforts of Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and they didn't even have much. Sony didn't have much input in that movie because they were putting all their balls in Venom. I heard they didn't even have much faith in Spider-Verse up until the first reviews started to come in. So I just don't think that it will all work out in the end if they're the sole makers of Spider-Man movies.
I think if they decided, I think all people are willing, like people are discussing this like 3 days later because they're still emotionally invested into it, which should show Sony that at the end of the day, they're not going to win this fight. You know, and I was just checking Twitter and people are sending me like memes of like it all being Disney's fault. And I'm like, none of that's even accurate. We don't even know. Like, you have no way of knowing if that's true. The narrative was painted in such a way to make Disney out to be the villain, rather than Sony, like, not realizing a good thing. And it's, you know what, but it's also still a negotiation tactic. It's all negotiation. Everything is negotiation.
People trying to paint Sony as a hero because of like what Stan Lee's daughter said with like Disney ruining her and trying to monopolize her father's creation. But no one should pay attention to what she says because she abused her father right up until his death. She was investigated for conspiracy. She didn't care about her father's legacy. She only cared about his fortune, really.
Yeah,
I know. She only said that because Sony probably offered her some back-end deals on their movie.
No, it's not that, because look, you can't ever sit there and think it's that chaotic or that nefarious. What it boils down to, like, realistically, is she's in control of his company, I think. And if she's in control of his charity, or she's in control of his assets, and putting him front and center right now and pitting his legacy against Disney is going to raise the value of certain things that she could potentially parlay into a decent payday for herself, because that puts it in the headlines again. I mean, remember what happened when Stan Lee's account tweeted out something about Captain Marvel on the premiere, and a ton of people made videos saying like they're abusing a dead man's account. Have you met his daughter? Yeah, that's a big thing. And you know, so it's one of those things where it's more or less like there's, you know, people need to not jump to fucking so many conclusions. It's hard not to. It is hard not to. I admit that, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not saying he decided the hero in this scenario. I'm just saying that I think Disney is greedy, but Sony is run by a bunch of morons who can't get in their shit together, and that's why it's been speculated they're going to be bought out for years because they have a lot of franchises, but most of them have either tanked financially or they haven't touched them in years. So that tells you enough about how their strategy isn't working out so well for them.
I would like to see them, to not suck, which would be great.
Yeah, I would too. I don't necessarily want to be bought out by Disney. I just don't want them to own Spider-Man anymore. Is that too much to ask? I know people are saying that, it's great that we have different versions of Stan Lee's characters and legacy, but at this point, I just would rather have Marvel be completely whole and have them own everything. Because no one bitches about Warner Brothers owning everything that DC has.
No one bitches about that, but at the same time, no one really praises it either. And I'm a release the Snyder Cut fan. I support that shit. But the quality of content's kind of across the board here. So fourth 1000 here says it's Sony's ball to take home. They own the rights. Get mad all you want. No. You are 100% correct. But Disney has the ability to completely railroad that property, like they did with fucking Dark Phoenix. They did that to Dark Phoenix. They railroaded it at the end there.
Better or worse, they did, yeah.
And in order to kill it quick and then be able to complain about it later. So, because keep in mind, they're able to write that loss off. That $170 million that they claimed that the movie cost them, they're able to write it off. So, that's the whole thing, is like, they know how to play the game. And that's what they did.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw one more possibility that Disney could do to try to get the rights of Spider-Man back, or at least re-up the deal in some form. So I know they own the TV rights to Spider-Man, but Sony has apparently been developing, with Phil Lord and Chris Miller, TV spin-offs from Spider-Verse, or at least ones that utilize the same characters from Spider-Verse, which doesn't make much sense because they shouldn't be able to make them without Disney's approval now, with this whole deal going off. So,
I would assume that they have the. I would assume that they have the, that they talked with Sony and they made a deal, because Disney likes money.
Could be true, but do you think that they could leverage that, saying, we'll give you the television rights to Spider-Man, or at least the rights to make your spin-off, if you agree to these terms and re-up the deal for the Spider-Man movie rights, or something along those lines? Or do you think Sony would even think that'd be worth it?
I think it's all going to come together. It just seems, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm trying to figure.
There's like multiple. Yeah, they could buy Sony. They could just buy the rights. They could leverage something. They could just smother it until Sony gives it.
No, they would smother it. They would smother it until Sony gives it up. That's what they would do. They would smother it.
Yeah,
because that's the easier thing for them to do.
The only issue is that, unlike the X-Men Fantastic Four, where they could wait a long time to introduce those characters, Spider-Man's already in the MCU, and they already had plans for him in the immediate future. So it's kind of like in order for everything to work out the way they want it to, they need to get the rights back within a certain amount of time. So it's just like, yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, they could, go back to 2014, the Phase 3 announcement, when they had the Inhumans movie on the docket.
Yeah.
Right? They had the Inhumans movie on the docket. And, there's all that. So, and then that's gone. And that was Ike Perlmutter. And they, keep in mind, they were integrating the Inhumans into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to tie into the movie, because that was back when they were still simpatico. That was before, that was season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that ended in 2015. And then that they were trying to, like, that was when they were all on the same page before Ike Perlmutter was a dick and and pissed off Kevin Feige to the point of where it fractured the MCU. And the thing is, they don't want there to be another fracture. They need to work. But anyway, I'm getting some more phone calls.
I have to go too, so I'll talk to you later.
Great.
Bye.
No, thank you so much, Roland. I'll see you later, Cam. Have a good one, dude.
I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, so there was a 503 number or 505 number and a 323. I think I know the 323 one. The 505, if you want to call back, you did call in first, or whoever, really, this one never does. Can get in on the action. We'll see. We'll be going about maybe another 25 minutes or so. All right. Hey, what's up, man?
My God, dude, the Spider-Man news, I'm sick of it already, man. Everybody, that's all everyone's ranting about.
Yeah, because it's important shit.
Yeah, but how many times can we repeat the same thing over and over again?
Until there's a definitive answer. Because then that
Okay,
starts a whole
look.
new fucking cycle.
Since I'm sick of Spider-Man news, I'm going to talk about Spider-Man right now. I think you touched upon something. If they announce Sam Raimi and they bring back, like, they make a storyline like Old Man Logan with Tobey Maguire, I'm in there. They got my money. What do you think?
If they, I don't know, man. That's kind of, we've never really seen Spider-Man as old. So
That's why we never really seen Spider-Man. We just see Spider High School coming out of high school.
Well, we've seen Spider College because in Spider-Man 2, both of them, he was in college. So, you know, I mean, I think the thing is though, Peter Parker always operates well as a younger character, which is why they keep going back to that.
True. Hey,
so I think if
tomorrow,
they were to do a big one, yeah. So yeah. You're going to go down there, right? You're going down to.
Yeah, I'll be there, and I'll try to give you as much information as I can. You'll probably know it as it breaks, anyways. But yeah. So look, for D23, I hope tomorrow with the Disney Plus presentation, I hope they announce a few other shows, stuff we don't know about, and I hope the future of it gives us maybe a live action Tron and stuff like that. Maybe was it John Carter of Mars? Is that what you call it?
I would love to see an actual continuation of that franchise, but it didn't make enough money. But
maybe it'll work on Disney Plus, though. You know what I
mean? Hold on. Yeah. It's God, I wish there was fucking call waiting on Skype. Jesus Christ. Okay. Hold on. Anyway, sorry. Fucking drives me up the wall. Oh. Hold on. Apparently
I can't even get Skype to work on my OBS, so don't feel bad, man. You're way ahead of me.
You get Skype to work by patching it into your desktop audio.
It doesn't work. People wouldn't hear it. But we'll talk about that offline, because I'm sure that's going to bore the out of people.
Yeah, we complain about technical shit all the time. Okay, so I mean, I would like them to. I just want a fucking answer at this point because I'm tired. I mean, I enjoy talking about it. It's been on my mind a lot the last couple of days as well. But I'm at the point where I'm like, look, give me something new, because like today, everyone, because you called me today and you're like, did you hear about this Joan Lee situation? And yeah, I'm like, I heard it. Yeah, I just I mean, I want to do a dive into it because I like the fact that I talked about it here and people are just like, fuck her, and you're like, all right, not everyone's fucking sucked down the Kool-Aid, man. So
well, they're using that video Stan. Well, a lot of people are using that video of Stan saying, hey, my daughter's great, and Kia, that dude, is great. But they fail to realize that was, when there's some stuff happening allegedly, where Stan was being kind of isolated, allegedly. So, I don't know. There's many moving parts to that story. But it's sad that the last year with Stan Lee that had to happen. He was isolated from people. People couldn't get to him. I think the most ironic thing out of her statement is that no one from Marvel reached out. It's like, well, he was isolated. And
yeah, by the time Stan Lee passed away, I mean, you figure like Kevin Feige would have reached out. But then again, if Stan Lee had never spoken well of his daughter, and I hate to say it, in all the years I read about Stan Lee, he never talked about his daughter. So, I mean, other people talk about their kids or their kids show up to certain events and it kind of feels like there might have been
Kevin Smith tried to reach out, right?
Yeah, Kevin Smith. Yeah, he told stories about Stan Lee in the past.
He reached out. He tweeted out. He goes, Stan, are you okay? Can't get a hold of you, brother. I think that I'm paraphrasing, but there's a tweet like that around where he couldn't, because a lot of people couldn't. Well, from what I heard, a lot of people couldn't get a hold of him at all. He went like missing, missing inside his home.
Okay.
Type of thing.
Okay.
So, well,
yeah,
I
no,
know
there's a
that,
lot there. There's so much complication to that Stan Lee. Honestly, there needs to be like a feature length documentary about the last 2 years of Stan Lee, the last year and a half of Stan Lee's life, because there's so much that happened that people just don't know about, and none of it was good. Oh, Looper made a video about it. Well, fuck Looper.
How's that for a Disney Plus original, Stan Lee, The Untold Story?
Well, I just read this, saw this update here talking about a new mystery show for Disney Plus was just announced. It's going to be called One Day at Disney, and it's a 52 episode docuseries where it follows around. It follows the staff of the Disney company, especially at the parks. It gives you a kind of behind the scenes, behind the curtain look at the different staff. Like one of them here is Walt Disney Imagineer Eric Baker, who helped bring Star Wars Galaxy's Life to Edge. So that should be kind of cool, going through the behind the scenes of how Galaxy's Life was built. Galaxy's Edge was built. They've got
that's smart.
A research and development project manager in the world of robotics technology. That's kind of cool. A lead animator for Pocahontas.
Smart because it's a double dip. It's going to double dip into the, people are paying for Disney Plus and getting a little bit of a parks ad there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It gives people a behind the scenes. Danny here says Disney making a documentary about how great it is working for Disney. Yeah, it's kind of propaganda, isn't it? It's a little bit propaganda. It's a little bit. I think it's. Hey,
I'm really excited about Disney Plus, though. I was kind of like, whatever. It's going to have stuff I already have on Blu-ray, anyways. But now I'm really, really excited. I hope they have some sort of surprise offer for the attendees.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you just want them to give you a free year.
Well, yeah, I don't know what's going to be better, a free year or me being able to call you after I leave the show and go, dude, I just got a free year.
Yeah, and I'm going to sit there and say, so where's my code? Where's my free year?
I can't
That's the first thing I'm going to fucking say. Yeah, whatever, dude.
Okay, so hey, listen, there's a rumor going on too, and I don't know if this is going to happen, that they may show the first episode of The Mandalorian. Right after the presentation.
I mean, that's entirely possible. It's towards the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you end up seeing The Mandalorian, do not tell me a fucking thing. I will block your number and block your call. Oh yeah, you dick. You'll be like, oh, I saw The Mandalorian. I saw the man. I'm like, oh, click. I'd hang up on you. I just fucking hang up on you.
Hey, buddy, listen, again, congratulations. This show's off the hook. I see even more people than usual coming in. It gets better all the time. But we got to get those likes up. So people in the chat or whatever, go ahead, smash that like button and share the crap out of this video. And consider doing a super chat or a Streamlabs. So, Matt could get some
coffee.
Like
money. So there we go. Yeah, I need coffee.
Well, you would need coffee and that Red Bull or that energy drink you do all the time.
Yeah. Vezok says here, dick ride time. Yeah, that's why I bring him on. It keeps my ego healthily. Yeah, is that a word? Whatever, inflated. All right, man. Hey, so I'm gonna let you go.
Ego inflator. I'm their designated ego inflator.
I appreciate that. Danny asks, how are the cats? 4 are fine. 1 is missing. Has been for over a month now. Don't think she's going to come home. That's unfortunate. And then the other one of them shit in the house like 3:00 in the morning because they're an asshole. Yep. That was fun. Anyway, I'm going to let you go because there's been like 3 calls that are coming from different numbers. So
hopefully one's a Cylon. Wink, wink.
Oh God, that Tetris guy from the other night. That'd be pretty funny. All right, man. Well, I'll definitely talk to you later. Have a good one. All right. Okay, so there we go. Wow. Hey, 909, how's it going?
Hey, this is Monday Matt.
That is a name I used to go by. Yeah, what's up, man?
Okay, I'm just watching the computer. There's a little bit of delay, so I heard you talking to the last guy, and all of a sudden you're talking at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
I'm of the mindset that Spider-Man leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a costly interesting thing. I'm more interested in the realm of possibilities because I kind of already know what to expect in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Asking about a good Marvel movie is no different than asking about how a McDonald's hamburger was last week. It's like, well, the quality's the same. What else are you going to expect? It's just too consistent in what they're doing. So maybe Sony will get their stuff together. Andy Serkis is a step up.
Well, but let me ask you though about Andy Serkis, because I think that's an interesting discussion. You know him predominantly from Gollum, King Kong, Caesar, but as a director, does it? No, he didn't do Jungle Book. He did Mowgli.
Or the Mowgli one. That's
the Mowgli one. Yeah, he did Mowgli. He didn't do Jungle Book. Decent. So it's not like it's but a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people aren't like
just knowing from his quality from just watching it. I'm not saying like he's like a refined name, like he's going to sell the movie on his name. But, you know, as a no-name director who comes in and does great, like the Russo brothers for the first time, I think he could possibly nail something.
No, I have a feeling. I mean, I know he learned a lot from Peter Jackson. So there's that. Like, and Peter Jackson brought him in to do second unit work on the Hobbit films. He was a second unit director. And so, working underneath Peter Jackson would be, I mean, as you know, I haven't directed a movie in a long time, but my God, if I had the opportunity, I would slurp up everything I get my hands on. I'd just be like under the table, like, yes, sir. No, but I would love to meet him and talk to him just to ask questions. So that's an interesting point. And I'm not saying that they can't do that, because I thought that Ruben Fleischer directing Venom was an interesting choice. I thought it was going to be rated R, predominantly
I'm not
because
familiar with his past work.
He did Zombieland. That was his most prominent work, I would say, is Zombieland. And that was like 10 years ago almost. Let's say Zombieland 2 comes out here in a few months. And even that one, even that movie is really one that it looks good. The trailer looks really funny. But he also did Gangster Squad.
What?
Oh, he also did Gangster Squad, which was not very good.
Not very good. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't see how like Zombieland, which is a funny movie, and I'm not saying that humor is a easy thing to do. If you ingratiate yourself with the audience through humor, that's a great thing. But I don't see how it translates to a special effect budget movie that's supposed to kind of have maybe a little bit more serious stakes, as we probably kind of were expecting before the movie came out, before realizing what it was. But I don't know. I think being in the realm of possibilities now, I think Spider-Man doesn't need the Marvel Cinematic Universe because his rogues gallery alone is more colorful than any of the Avengers villains.
True. And I agree. And I think, honestly, that's one of the reasons why Marvel is as interested as they are in making this work. Because the emotional grounding in Endgame for Tony Stark was Spider-Man. You know?
Right.
Like, what was the first thing he said to Captain America? I lost the kid. What prompted him to...
You're talking to one of the few people who did not watch Endgame. I'm not a big Marvel Cinematic Universe person. I kind of dropped.
You should watch it. You should really watch it, because then people don't feel bad about spoiling it in front of you.
Oh no, I don't. I read all the spoilers online. I didn't plan on watching.
Okay.
I saw Infinity War and I didn't really care too much for it, and then so I was like, I can't do 3 hours, so I'm kind of skipping. Not that I'm hating on it, it's just not like.
Yeah, I get that. Some movies are hard to do. I would say, like, if you get the opportunity to sit down and watch it, like on home video, just give it a go. You might find it's definitely a different vibe of a film than Infinity War was. But again, that's my personal take on it. But as far as like the emotional resonance of that movie and the emotional resonance of Iron Man's sacrifice, it was really about, his children ultimately, which was Peter. He viewed him as a son, and his daughter Morgan. And so, that's why Far From Home did as well as it did, because it dealt with that aftermath. It allowed us as an audience to kind of like heal through Peter, to grieve through him, to live vicariously. And it really worked out well. For what they were trying to do with it. So, and I see your point about like, saying a good Marvel movies is, it's like getting a burger from McDonald's, you know what you're going to get. But I do feel they've tried to up the emotional game a little bit. Captain Marvel, not so much. That was really just bland. It's as plain as Brie Larson's acting. And, so there's that, but I think they've done well. But I agree with you. I think Fox was actually on the right call, to be honest. I think Fox was on the right track, by doing.
I like the Fox properties because
Yeah,
those movies
I really
have a
I did
bit
too.
more of a serious emotional resonance. They just couldn't really crack the storylines down, but I like I think I like more of their failures just on merit than
I
a lot
like
of
Dark
Marvel
Phoenix.
successes.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was fine. Yeah,
I
was
have not seen that one.
it's when it was I was actually and I've said this before and I catch like crap for it and I'm pretty sure chat will give me shit. But I said like when I was watching the movie, it gets to the final scene of Dark Phoenix, which is very reminiscent to the final scene of the first X-Men movie. You know, when they're playing when they're playing chess. And keep in mind, like I saw X-Men, I was 18 when that movie premiered, summer of 2000. Yeah, so I was 18, and so I've spent, nearly 19 years. About 19 years watching these characters, and to get to that last scene and to know that's basically the end, man, I Shia LaBeoufed the fuck out of that thing. I was all like, no, 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 no. I wasn't ready for it to end yet, and then I walked out of the theater. I walked out of the theater. I was a little teary eyed. I was a little bit bummed. My girlfriend's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm all like, "Yeah, it's weird that it's over. It's weird that this whole thing is over because the Fox properties. I mean, dude,
it's
everyone
beautiful
fucking
and sad when something ends, and I kind of wish, I want to know what the ending is, even when if it's like a TV show. Like I can't say when a TV show gets popular because if it's popular, it goes on for 10 years. I'm interested in the end.
Well, unless it's Game of Thrones, they said it for 7 or 8 seasons and then they dropped it.
Right. Yeah.
I get your point. I get your point. It's like, will The Walking Dead ever end? Probably not.
Probably. Well, the comic ended abruptly, so here's to hoping that the show follows in the same suit. But I don't know, crazy idea. I kind of wish that they actually just, with the Marvel Universe, that's what I'm kind of talking about, that they just actually said that's the end of the Avengers storyline and just capped it, and then just brought in X-Men outside of the the Avengers, and said now we're doing an X-Men story on the merit of just X-Men, not like Magneto's going to be standing next to Hulk and all these other characters we've seen before. Just end that. Put your box set up on the shelf and be like, that's the Avengers story, and just cap it. Start a new story. That's my wishful thinking.
Yeah, no, I think that would be pretty good. I think that's what they're doing with the Phase 4. Phase 4 is just low stakes. They're going to clearly set things up for Phase 5, but they're clearly low stakes as a way to kind of just have a refresh, like a palate cleanse. And I think that's what the Eternals are. Like it's going to be super colorful and cosmic. It's a total palate cleanse.
I'm hoping that DC gets there. They're not going to get there first. Eternals probably going to come out before the New Gods thing. So
no, DC's in no way going to get there first. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. But even with back to the Spider-Man thing, I think maybe even that Sony might be doing Spider-Man a favor because the next Phase 4 lineup, people aren't too crazy about it. I mean, we've lost, Iron Man, Captain America, technically Hulk has Professor Beta Hulk now, and Thor's getting a gender swap, which could be funny. I mean, it's like
Thor. I mean, it's not that Thor's getting a gender swap. It's it's that there's another character that's going to be taking on the mantle. It's a dumb thing, but it's not necessarily gender swap because he's in the movie. It's not like he ends up like picking up the hammer, and all of a sudden he grows boobs. Although that would be pretty funny, to be fair.
I'd hate to watch that.
I think a lot of people would. I do. I think a lot of people would absolutely, positively watch that and would laugh their damn ass off. Because I think Chris Hemsworth could pull it off.
Right. As amusing as that would be, I mean, it would be in the same vein of Marvel playing their serious canonical stories for laughs. Because as much people want to rag on the DC, which I love more, I'm probably clear about that, but that was not the Thor Ragnarok story. That was not the Planet Hulk story. It wasn't a comedy movie. But so I don't know. Like, I want to love Marvel, but yeah, that's why I'm kind of interested in the Sony getting Spider-Man back. Although they have a bad track record.
That's the problem. They have a bad track record. They do. They just do. It's I mean, the thing is, okay, the biggest problem with Marvel is the homogenization, which I have argued about that before as well. I think when Fox decided, when they finally said, fuck it, let's give $50 million to Deadpool and see what happens. And if, at the very minimum, we'll make the money back. And then it makes, $800 million. And they're like, God damn, what? An R-rated movie made 800 million? A comic book movie made 800 million? And then the next year they one up it with Logan. They, because I mean, look, as much as I love Deadpool, and I do, I think it's a near perfect movie. Logan is such an emotionally resonant film. It is such a great send off for Hugh Jackman that at the end of that movie, you are just emotionally wrecked because, it's that when she takes the cross, she turns it on to an X. I mean, you're like,
I almost lost it on that movie.
Yeah. I was like, so sad.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I just maybe like a lot of Marvel films feel like they're made for younger audiences. I'm just kind of holding on with the nostalgia factor, but I really want more films like Logan that I could watch with my dad, who only likes Clint Eastwood movies. But he's like, hey, this is pretty good.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like the other stuff. So I don't know.
No, and that's very true. That's the whole thing. That's very true. It's like they need that, and I think that's kind of what Disney Plus is for.
They're going to go that route.
I think so. I think they're going to treat maybe not Disney Plus, but like Hulu. They bought Fox, and they bought Fox, and they got all these franchises, and they got the X-Men back, and they want to release R-rated movies through Fox because Disney's a fucking business, and a lot of people out there seem to forget that.
It's going to be very much Touchstone Pictures, basically.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that stuff, and so I think that they're going to because look at the Marvel Netflix shows, those were R-rated. Right. Those were R-rated. I mean, like when the Kingpin, decapitates a dude in the door frame of a Escalade, like in Jessica Jones when she's having sex with Luke Cage, and it's like you see everything except the nudity,
Exactly.
And these are violent shows and with adult characters, and the thing is, people loved it because you can have that.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. So I just hope Disney. Well, it seems kind of like Disney hasn't really capitulated to the other audience that we're talking about right now. Kind of wants a little bit more dark, serious tone stuff. Maybe they'll do that through Fox. Hopefully, there's no PG-13 Deadpool. But that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm like, kind of backing for the Sony buyout. Not that Spider-Man's going to go that route, but just possibilities. At this point with Disney, I'd rather just risk a failure than just to be like, I know exactly what I'm going to get.
I'd like to see something like that too. I think as weird as it is, I think New Mutants might actually be able to set that tone because they're not going to do reshoots on New Mutants. They're just not. There's no point to pony up the money. It's been over 2 years, since the film was shot, so no one looks the same they did, and you just release it or scrap it, whatever. But they've already shot the damn thing. Just put it together and release it, and. Right. I think that, people could see it and go, yeah, we really like this concept. This again was that experimental take on this franchise, on these characters. I mean, new characters, but still within the X-Men world. And that, I think that could be really good. But the thing is, though, whether or not it's profitable, and these movies may not be profitable in the box office. Well, I mean, Logan was, Deadpool was. But I think like New Mutants, maybe not so much, but on Disney Plus or on Hulu, absolutely. I'm
not really sure how they generate profit on those things, just by bringing in subscribers, right? No advertising.
They bring, that's how Netflix, gauges everything.
Okay.
Yeah, there's, that's pretty much.
Which is why they cancel shows on Netflix.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it. Like, cause look at like the OA. The OA came out in the winter of December 2016. And then the new season dropped back in March, over 2 years later. And then it got canceled. And, it's like, oh, well, okay. People are upset because they like the show, but it's like, you didn't bring in anyone new. They didn't hype it up. Right. Netflix is terrible at hyping up their own content. They are. They really are.
So a lot of people are upset about Netflix for that, but I think Netflix can contextualize it in a more of a model for their platform if they actually tell you how many seasons that they plan on going for. Like, let me know if you're on the same line as me. I like miniseries more than just 8 seasons or 10 seasons of a show. Give me a miniseries. Give me a trilogy of seasons, right? So that I know when the end is coming and how long to hold on for. Meanwhile, I'm watching the end of this season, this series finale. They got something else already advertised that I know I'm going to hang out for. So I don't know. I would like more miniseries so I get the story instead of just like the longevity and the burnout. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree with you. Actually, I think that's we need more of that, and that's why the Netflix shows worked, because that was kind of like, I mean, it's a TV show, it's 13 episodes, but it's kind of the same process. It's like a long movie, and look at the miniseries that they're doing for Disney Plus with the X-Men shows, or sorry, the Marvel shows. Like Loki's going to be 6 episodes, I think. Wanda's maybe 6 to 8. Captain or Winter Soldier, Falcon 8, whatever. So they're keeping it done. And like 8 and done, 8 and done, like BBC shit. Like
if
BBC
they did
shows.
more of that on cable, I would probably go to the movies less, because I mean, it's just a longer movie that I know I'm waiting for the conclusion.
Yeah, I think, and that's going to be the next big thing. But hey, man, I'm gonna let you go, because I try to keep it around like maybe 15 minutes a call if we can. And there were a couple more people that were trying to come in. But I appreciate you calling in, and thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Have a good one, dude. All right. Alice White says hi from Italy. Hey, Alice, how you doing? Okay, so I'll take one more call, because it's we'll wrap it up after one more call, if anyone wants to. The Discord is also open. If anyone wants to jump into the Discord, link is in the video description. I am very much trying to figure out how in the goddamn hell to turn off some of these fucking Skype notifications. This program is garbage. It's terrible. It's god awful. Let's see here. It's Frank says he's burned out on all superhero movies. I don't blame you. There's a lot there. Big Armada says I'd like to see more original non-Marvel, non-DC superhero movies. Yeah, me too. And I think that's eventually going to be the case, but we're going to see a lot of those on streaming. It's just the way that it is. As for Blue Sky, I don't know, man. They're still allowed to operate, so that's interesting. So let's see here. Prediction: the MCU will plateau around 2028. Maybe, man. I don't see that not happening. So yeah, the other one who had called in, the 818 number, if you're still around, feel free. I'll hold off for you. The way I see it with these movies is they're profitable. They're going to continue being profitable for a while when they start expanding. If the MCU as a whole, in regards to the ancillary content, the Disney Plus stuff, whatever, ends up actually being tied in with the same actors, that's going to be pretty big. I would like to see, more of the short form miniseries like we were talking about. I think we'd get more fleshed out stories, more fleshed out characters. And all things considered, when it comes to Marvel, they need to do that with the villains. They really need to do that with the villains. I think if we got better villains, we would have better stories. So, and then the Joker's coming out, which apparently is going to be. I'm hoping that's going to be good. They talked about a sequel for that today. I'll probably cover that tomorrow. All right. Well, if no one else is going to call on in, I think I'm going to call it a day. It's been a fun week so far. Tomorrow, of course, is the big Disney Plus announcement at D23. And if anyone is interested in potentially me streaming that around 3:30 in the afternoon in order to get real life updates as it happens, we could do that. If not, I might just wait for it to end and then cover it directly myself. So we'll see. But yeah, I see Nerd Reports dropping the number. Yeah, no, I can't force anyone to call. It's all good. But anyway, I'll be back for sure Monday night, 11 o'clock. Have yourself a great weekend, guys. Enjoy some movies. Go see something. Go watch something. And have yourself a good one. And peace out.